Chainsaw Man chapter 180 is here, and Denji and Yoru are stuck in this dream world. This was a pretty crazy chapter, guys. Let's get into it. There was a lot of stuff revealed. So the chapter begins with Yoru loading up another bang attack, but the aging devil does a reverse Uno on her and shoots a bang at her. And when she gets hit, we see her fall into the deep black abyss, and then we see her running. And we get some dialogue from somebody, and we can assume that it's Yoru, and she says, "Oh, it's the same dream again." And she questions herself, and she says, "A dream? When did I fall asleep?" And then we see Asa and not Yoru, and she is staring at something. And she's just staring at the nature, and it looks pretty nice. And she says, "Where am I?" And she looks around, and she sees on the ground Denji is right there, and she says, "Denji?" And without any hesitation, she points her finger, and she says, "Bang," and she's just trying to kill Denji. But her attack does nothing, and Denji is just still asleep. And then she puts her finger on Denji's mouth, and she just says, "Bang, bang, bang," over and over and over. She's trying to kill him, but it's just not working. And we see Yoru, and then she turns back into Asa. But then this guy pulls up and says hello, and Asa is just weirded out, and he looks pretty weird, and he says, "Welcome," and he says this is a world that the aging devil created. And Asa just looks at him pretty confused, and then we go into this dude's backstory. He says he used to be a devil hunter, and he was pretty good at it, and all of his friends respected him. He says he had no complaints, but one day when he passed the mirror, something completely changed. He looked in the mirror and saw his face, and he says, "My laugh lines have deepened. Man, I don't want to age. If there was something called the aging devil, I would make a contract with it." And he said as soon as he said those words, he found himself here. And we see Asa thinking about this, but then right here, we see her eyes change color, and she says, "Where's the exit?" And he says, "Right, I haven't found one yet." And she says, "How long have you been here?" And he says, He says it's been 82 years since he arrived here, and he's the youngest one, so there's other people here. He says, "I don't get hungry, I don't get thirsty, and I've tried to myself many times, but it seems like I can't die in here." He says there's other humans too the farther you get in, but they've lost their minds, so it's better to keep away from them. And Asa starts tripping, and she says, "Is there any way out?" And he's like, "Well," and he says supposedly there was a human that escaped a long time ago, and Asa's like, "How?" But he says, "Uh-oh, it's almost that time. I'm gonna lose it, so you can disappear now." This dude's about to go crazy, and Asa's like, "Huh?" And he says, "You're a hallucination that I dreamed of, aren't you, Ritsuko?" And Asa's like, "What?" And this dude's like, "Mri?" And to end off the chapter, he just starts screaming, "Mri, Mri, Mri," and Asa's right there just in shock. But yeah, guys, this was a pretty crazy chapter. I don't know what Fujimoto's doing, but he is cooking. He's setting up something. Denji's asleep and Asa's awake. It doesn't make sense, but I know something's gonna happen. But let me know, guys, what you think of the newest Chainsaw Man chapter.